gyms are back open now. So happy. If you're following me on Insta, you know that gym is important for me. Mondays, Tuesdays, early mornings, 5:30, getting up, going gym. Thursdays, legs. Yeah, glad to be getting back to some kind of normality. Anyway, got a good question from someone on Insta. They want to get started in music production, don't know what route to take. I've been doing this since 2005, so I've got a few things that I can share. So if you're just starting off in music production, then these tips will definitely help you. So I'm just going to talk about my path, my journey on how I've got to here, where I am now, making beats on the PlayStation Music Generator 2. If you've been following me, you know that's something that I always talk about because that was the foundation for me to start making beats. So I want to talk about what I would do if I was just starting to make beats in 2021. So I'm just going to go over the path that I took, the journey that I'm on now, and the stuff that's helped me, and maybe that can help you as well, because if I was starting now today, I probably would take the same path, maybe do things a little bit different. But as we go through the video, you'll be able to take parts from it that will help you in starting your music production career. So one of the things that stood out to me in this question was when he mentioned his age, saying that he's late in the game. We need to get rid of this whole you need to do this at this age, you need to do this at... Listen, my path is, to some people, can look completely backwards. I remember someone saying to me, oh, you're like one of the oldest students I've ever known. And this was when I was doing my master's degree in branding and advertising. And I thought about it after, and I thought to myself, that's such an ignorant thing to say, because I didn't have guidance. I didn't have some people telling me, as soon as you finish school, go to college, do uni, do this, blah, blah. At this certain time, I just done things my own way, and that's the journey I'm on. That's my path. So for you or anyone else that feels like they're too old to be getting into music production or doing something that you love, you're not too old. Don't let society fool you into thinking that you're too old to start something new, because you're not. You're still here, so you've got time to do it. So don't ever feel like you have to be living up to someone else's standard or someone else's timeline. You're on your own timeline. So just enjoy the process. And I know it sounds cliche, enjoy the process, enjoy your journey, and do what feels right for you. Tea's cold. What's going on, YouTube fam? Hope you're well. Before I dive into this video, I need to shout out my 2 new subscribers. Shout out Jaden Lee and Monita. Thank you both for hitting that subscribe button. Appreciate that. Glad you're a part of the community, and all the best for your YouTube channels. Favorite comment for this week is coming from I am £4. Yeah, bro, I've heard that a few times. A few people said that. I don't know, maybe it's the skin tone. Got that orange hue in there, you know? But anyway, I appreciate the comment, bro. I appreciate the positive vibes and good energy. That's what we're about. All right, we've done that. Let's dive into this video. Music production, beat making, producing, they've kind of merged into the same meaning. But there is a difference. There's a difference between a music producer and a beat maker. But that's for a whole nother video. So I won't get too deep into it, but a music producer doesn't necessarily make beats. They just oversee the whole production of a song. Whereas a beat maker is just the person who makes the beat. That is it in its simplest terms. So one of the first things you can do when starting your music production career is decide on what type of music you want to make, what type of beats do you want to produce. This doesn't mean that you have to stick to this genre of music, because if you're just starting out, all you're doing now is just finding your path, finding what works for you. And these things are going to change over time as you start to develop your sound. One of the best ways to decide on what genre, well, for me, was the type of stuff that I listen to. Who's my influences? Who are your influence? My influence was Timbaland. Listening to his music back in the day, I was always liking the heavy hitting drums and beats, the bass. If you asked me a lyric of a song, I couldn't tell you. I just know how the beat made me feel. So decide on your genre of music, and then listen to your favorite producers, your favorite music, and just listen to how the sounds that are being used to create that piece of music, and then go from there. So my path included going to college and going to uni. You don't have to do this. I've got a whole video on why you should and why you shouldn't go to music school. So check that out. Might find that one useful. But if you don't want to go the route of college or uni, YouTube. I've learned so much from just watching YouTube videos, watching other producers in the studio, watching my favorite producers in the studio. You can do the same thing too and learn a whole heap. You can just put in a search in how to make beats. Watch my videos or any other producer who are absolutely fire at what they do. And you can just pick up ways of how they're putting their beats together, and then you just develop your own sound through that. There's courses online that you can take if you don't want to go to college and uni, because the way things are at the moment, although things are starting to ease a bit, it might be a bit hard to actually sit down in a classroom and get your money's worth. Good thing about going to college and uni though is just being able to ask questions directly to your tutor and just get feedback there and then. The third thing you can think about is learning an instrument. How are you going to make your beats? Do you want to play your own instruments in keys, guitar, drums, whatever it is? If you want to take the path of learning how to play the instrument so that you can just play these things in when you're creating your beats, then do that. Like I said before, online courses, you could also go for personal tutors or courses, online courses, or again, YouTube. That's how I learned how to play keys. I think I took about 2 or 3 lessons with a tutor and it wasn't for me. So I bought books, I bought courses. I've got a whole video on how I learned to play keys, so check that out. It's worth watching. A few gems in there. Like if you want to go the route of learning how to play self-taught, which is what I've done, then do that. Whatever works for you, whatever makes you comfortable, whatever you feel is best for you, then just always roll with that. You know inside what's right for you. All I'm doing is just sharing what's worked for me, so hopefully you can take something from that and roll with it. So the fourth thing would be what software you're going to use. There's loads out there. You've got the FL Studios, you've got your Cubases, you've got your Logic Pros, you've got Reason. So what I would say is test these out, test them all out, because you've got time to. Trial versions, see what you're most comfortable with, see what you feel you can get the most from. Do some research, check to see what your favorite producers are using, and maybe even check to see how people find using it. Like how long did it take to actually be able to throw down a decent beat using it? Because I started on, I've used Cubase, I used FL, which was Fruity Loops at the time, and Reason. I liked Reason the most at the time and I made a lot of bangers using that. But then when I went to college, well actually when I went to uni, they was using Logic Pro, was using Mac. So I kind of just went with what I was being taught on, which made sense at the time. That was 2008 and I've obviously been using it since then, just grown and grown and just always learning, there's always new things to learn. So where you're just starting out, try all these different things. There's no harm in trying them and seeing what sticks. Number 6, within music production, there's gonna be some mix and mastering. This is something that will take years to learn. I've been doing it, like I said, since 2008, and I'm still learning now. There's things that I still feel like I could make better. I'm never satisfied. I'm always trying to push myself and just get better at what I do. So when you're making your beats, you're doing your music production, it's all good being able to make a nice melody and a nice kick pattern, but if it doesn't sound good together because the levels are off and frequencies clashing, then it's not going to be pleasing to the listener. So mixing and mastering is something that you're going to have to do while you're learning. So all these things are interlinked. Is it interlinked? Interlinked, so you'll be doing these as a whole. Don't be put off by that, because this is part of it, and you're just going to continue to grow and get better. I think that was number 5. I think I jumped one. So the 6th thing is just understanding what you're using. So just use the stock plugins. Don't get caught up into thinking that if I buy that synth, it's going to make my music sound better. If I buy that new VST or that new compressor or limiter, that's the missing link to making my music sound better. These things do make your music sound better, but it's just using the stock plugins for now until you get to a certain level, like you've outgrown them. Then start looking into buying some third-party plugins and drum packs and all that other stuff to make your production sound more professional or higher quality. As you grow, you might develop shining plugin syndrome. Try and stay away from that, because all you're doing is just chasing the newest plugin that comes out. Here's an example. Jason Joshua, one of the best engineers in the world, he uses a plugin called, I think it's the Exciter plugin, Ozone 4, Ozone 5. Ozone is on 9 Advanced right now. So you can imagine all the other plugins that's in between that, yet he's still using Ozone 4 and 5 on certain elements of his mixes. So yeah, just don't get caught up in that shiny plugin syndrome, because it's not going to do you much favors. It's just going to hurt your pocket at the end of it. So learn the stock plugins, and then once you've outgrown them, move on to ones that are suited for the job you're doing. So the 7th thing, which I feel was very important, once you've got to a place where you've got your equipment, you've kind of learned how to make beats, you've kind of learned how to use your DAW, finish your beats, start putting your beats on YouTube, SoundCloud, Instagram, and this will allow you to get some feedback. You're going to get a couple fire emojis, because some people, they're not even listening to your beat, pretending that the headphones are on, but really they're not. And then you're also going to get the negative feedback. Don't worry about that. It's not important. It's just noise, because you're just at a level of putting yourself out there and getting feedback, so which will help you to grow, because that's what feedback does. If you're always getting good feedback, then how do you know where do you go from there? So it's kind of a good thing to get feedback. It's not going to make you feel good, I know that, but you can't dwell in it, because you can get 100 positive comments and then you get that one negative comment and you're just gonna dwell in that. Yeah, don't do that. It's just a waste of time, waste of energy. That same energy you could be using to make some more fire beats. And you're just getting started, so you're gonna get better. So don't put no time or energy into listening to what they've got to say, because they've took time out of their day to type nonsense and you're still creating beats while they're there typing, so it don't matter. So lastly, what I'll say is practice, practice, practice. I know it sounds cliche, I know it sounds old, probably thinking, oh, how are you gonna finish off with that? But it's important. Practice as much as you can and learn as much as you can. Always be open to learning. I think there's nothing worse than a person thinking that they know everything. You just don't. The learning don't stop till there's soil in your ears. So just keep practicing, keep learning, keep growing, and eventually you're gonna be where you wanna be. This music production game can be an expensive hobby, but if you're serious and looking to make it into your career, then you just gotta look at it like an investment. All the money that you're spending on equipment, plugins and compressors and EQs, if you're cracking them, that's up to you. I'm not judging you. But all that you're spending will come back to you. It's just return on investment. And once you do start getting paid because you've made a hit with an incredible artist or built up an amazing mix and mastering company, production company, yeah, you can see that it's all worth it. All the money you spend, all the time, all the tears, all the sleepless, because sleep's good. Sleep is important. But all the work that you're putting in, yeah, it's just gonna be worth it. So yeah, got any questions, feel free to hit me up on Insta. I'm always happy to help, or just drop a comment below. Let me know how you're getting on with your music production company or career, if that's what you're doing already, or where you're at in your music making. If you like this video at all, hit that like button. If you want to see more videos like this, hit the subscribe button. And make sure you hit that notification bell so you get notified anytime I put up a new video. As per usual, I appreciate your time.